I'm back here on my own this weekend. I arrived yesterday, did some work yesterday. I did do that off camera, I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to show you that in a minute. First, I'm going to give you a recap of what I did last weekend because I didn't really round it off properly, but we did install this entrance up to the loft. Second thing we did was that we also installed like a walking bridge that you can walk up upstairs on the loft, which is installed and insulated the entire way through. So if we are ever to do anything up on the loft again, as we did back in January, if we are to do that again, next time we will also be able to stand in a stable manner upstairs when we are up on the loft. No one's ever going to use anything that's going to be up there aside from me and tradesmen if we are bringing them in at a later stage. And the final thing that we did last weekend, we did that on the Sunday, me and my girlfriend. We installed the flooring in the other room here that you can see just below me. I hope that the camera picks it up. So that was what we did last week. And what we are to do this week is that we are starting to fit the new ceiling. And I called in my friend Christian the carpenter yesterday, who came and showed me how to install the ceiling. So I've got some of it installed already now in the other room, and I'm going to show you how. Yes, as you can see, we've started installing the ceiling in here, and it's a bit of a pain because these boards that I'm putting up in the ceiling are 120 centimeters long. And the space between the joists that you see hanging up here are about 90 centimeters or just shy of 90 centimeters. And these are tweaking like mad. Well, they're very, very old. So they're probably from when the house was built 100 years ago. Completely dry, you know, we've sanded them down. It's not really the easiest. And I've never tried installing this kind of ceiling before, but it's just a matter of cutting it to the right size and hopefully getting it all to work. I got about halfway through with this room yesterday. The way that you start by doing a room like this is that you measure out the size from this side of the room to the other side of the room, cut that in half, and that's your middle line. So you'd like that to be a middle line. Then you know these boards are 60 centimeters wide, so you space that out, and then you need to ensure that you're not going to have 0.1 of one of these boards towards the end. Honestly, it was quite straightforward when I got into it. The only thing I find difficult is to cut the holes here for the light fixtures. We did a few mistakes yesterday, so that's going to cost me materials, but you live and you learn, and this is all about a new learning progress. And what I want to show you with all these videos and what I want to show myself, which is also the purpose of me doing these videos, is that besides having no experience, you can still get this done on your own if you're just willing to invest the time in it and learn it, and probably most importantly, call the right people who can then tell you how to do it properly. So I'll get cracking. I'm hoping that I can have this room sorted today and potentially also the room next door. And well, I'm not saying it. Okay, I'll say it. I'm hoping also to get started out when you have the entrance to the loft shaft. So I better get going, and I will do this in a time lapse, which you will see now. Right, that is the first room done. I'm quite happy with the results when I consider it's the first time I'm doing it, and it's quite hard to do all of these cuts when these beams that are running through the entire apartment here is 100 years old and has a lot of different cracks in them, and I don't really know how to make the cuts so that they fit incredibly tight. No, I think the lines here line up somewhat decent. Hands on heart, I'm quite pleased with the result. I am considering whether I should put on a bead of silicone just simply around the corners all the way through to ensure that the surface is looking smooth. Let me know what you think. Should I put a bead of silicone through it? Let me just show you the biggest crack that I have, just to show you that this is not all just smooth sailing. You can see here we have a small crack here of about half a centimeter, like 4 or 5 millimeters. But it's simply because this beam is not the best. So I think I might just add some silicone all the way through, also in the corners all the way around. But it looks like there's a big gap there, but I couldn't really do much. It's simply because of how these beams are looking. Here you can see how the lines are following, if I'm showing it to you there properly. I think it actually lines up very well. Next order of business is this room that I'm standing in right now. Luckily there's going to be less ones to put up in here, but there's still going to be some quite hard cuts to do because I've got a corner like I have up here in the corner, obviously. So this one's going to be relatively hard to do. The other ones I'm not too concerned about. Then I have just one final thing that I want to tell you. The reason why I'm putting it in a direction like this is because, first of all, one thing is it follows the floor that we have laid in the same direction, and it also follows the roofing structure. So the roof is running this way on the house, and you do run these pieces of ceiling in the same direction as what you have with the roof. I believe that's enough chatting from my side. I better get started. Okay, so all is looking nice and well, but as I'm rewatching the footage here, it just strikes me that I never made an outro for this bit. So let's just jump to
2 weeks later.
Hello, and welcome back. I am here by myself this time around. This weekend I've been here for a few hours today. I think I've only been here for like 4 hours. And the first thing you saw me doing was just pulling up a lot of weeds that we had outside. It was actually a job that I was planning on postponing until after I was done with the entire renovation, because I think it's wiser to spend the hours inside finishing up everything so I can rent this apartment out again. But it had gotten to a point where I think it was too much, so I wrapped up everything. I have been on holiday since I was here last time with my missus, and we've been down watching the Tour de France, hence why I'm also wearing this funny looking hat, but it actually serves purpose very well in terms of me not getting my hair into my face constantly when I'm up and down all the time. It really worked well when I did the weeds outside, and it's also working well when I'm doing this ceiling, as you can see here. And oh God, it's tough. There's so many cuts. Every single cut of these are individual. They're different because it's an old wonky house. So what have I done? Well, I've so far managed to put up what's equivalent to 3 of these pieces of ceiling, these trolltægt as they're called in Danish, and I'm just missing one over here, which is over the stairs that are going down to the living room, and then I'm missing this bit that is just above here, which is a triangle, and I need to see how I can make that fit. But yeah, that's going to be a job for tomorrow. I'm hoping this weekend that I can have this room sorted as well, along with the hall or entrance way here. I countersunk the access to the loft by 2.5 centimeters to make sure that it's level with the spots. And the only discrepancy that we have is this one, and that is simply because I don't have anything that I can screw it up in. I had to cut this one off in 2 parts to make it go and fit as it is right there. I'm quite pleased with the result, in all fairness. I think it's looking all right. What I'm not pleased with is that I am breaking so many of these of these pieces of ceiling. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm not thinking through the process entirely. So this board I put up here, I had to make quite a few cuts, and I also need to take care of the electrics or the fitting for the light that's going to be sitting here in the I didn't really focus too much on that one, so I ended up using, I think this is number 4 that I did, which is a bit annoying. I'm hoping that I can use some of the other ones in the other room in here. Yeah, you learn, that's the only thing I can say. But I need to shoot, and then I will see you with an update tomorrow. Which, by the way, in your, whatever you're viewing, will be in a second. So yeah, see you in a bit.
The next morning.
Hello, I'm back. It's Sunday. I went out with dinner with my family last night, as you've just seen. And I wasn't really in the mood of going out and having beers. And there was a band coming on playing. It's that sort of like the local town that I'm from. It was that annual event of the year where everyone gathers, everyone comes back, everyone that's living outside the city goes back and everyone goes to party. But I wasn't really in the mood, so went out for dinner with my family, and then I actually made a strange decision of going back up here to do a bit more work. And I actually got finished putting up the ceiling out in the sort of like the entrance point, or sorry, like the small hallway. I call it a hallway, it's like 2 square meters. But the small hallway here that you enter when you go up, up the staircase. And I then came up here today, gave a few things a bit of a clean up. This place is so messy because I'm doing so many cuts with the saw. Everything's dusty, it's a complete mess. I've got scrap pieces of ceiling everywhere, and yeah, I figured it was good to just do a quick tidy up, so I spent a good 30 minutes on doing that. Didn't put that on camera because it's absolutely boring for you to watch. And you saw me putting up weeds yesterday, so I think you've seen me doing a lot of tidying already now. But yeah, it needs to be done. And I am now continuing here in this last room. I call this the L room because where the camera is standing, it's going around in a small like L shape. So it's very long, and then it goes around in an L shape. So I need to finish up this L room. Right now, I have done my measurements. I've put this one straight in the middle. Did that off camera, and then I forgot, oh, I haven't started recording it yet, so better start recording things. I have also just done that one, so that's fit, so I just need to put that one up. And it's just a matter of going in each direction. And then it's a matter of matching that over here on this side. And then I need to see how it's going to fit with the one that's going to be just above the L shape. Not so sure how it's going to look and how I can do that, but I'll get to that in a minute. Enough me talking now, I'll crack on, and then you will be seeing me screwing things up here, and then it's probably going to go into a time lapse, and yeah, then I'll catch up with you a bit later. See you then. What's annoying about screwing up all of these is that you get an awful lot of dust into your eyes. And despite me wearing glasses, I still get a few bits and pieces into my eyes. But yeah, might as well crack on. Such a wonky old house this is. I am missing exactly 6 of these pieces of ceiling that I need to put up. I'm hoping it's going to be relatively smooth sailing from here and until I finish the rest of it. Yeah, we'll see how quickly it will go. So I'll see you in a bit. So the L-shaped room is now fully sealed up. I got all the pieces of ceiling in that I wanted this weekend. I have just given everything a good clean, so everything actually looks very nice and tidy in here now. There are a few things that I pick up that you might struggle to see on the camera. Just small scratches, small itches on the surface everywhere, a few boards that are not entirely straight. We have to bear in mind that this house is very, very wobbly, or at least the old building materials are wobbly. In all fairness, I'm not 100% satisfied, as with so many other things in this build. So I might, at a later stage, change out some of these pieces of ceiling if I have an excess of the ones that I've been using so far. Another thing that I have noticed is that I have cut the ending strips here at a wrong angle. I've cut them at a 30-degree angle and they should have been at a 45. This one I'm standing just beneath right now. It's cut at a 45-degree angle, and as you can see, it's completely flush. Whereas some of the other ones are having a small gap. But I think it's just a matter of taking them down, cut them at a 45-degree angle, and then put them back up in the same holes as what I've used before. Then the only thing that's left up here, fit the radiators, do the electrics, which my brother's coming up and doing. The radiators, I'm going to have a plumber to come and fix, so I won't be messing around with any of that myself. So an outsourced job in terms of the electrics, and then I also need to put in the doors. It's 3 doors up, not 3 doors down, unfortunately, because I need to fit in 2 doors here, one on my left, one on my right, and then one that's filming through the hole that you're seeing right here. Because of the very tight space that you have over between these 2 doors, I am going to get my friend Christian the carpenter to fix that for me. So I need to arrange with him when he can get that done. And again, also 2 radiators, one in that room, one in that other room that I have for the left of me right now. Still a few things to do, but I am very, very happy in terms of the progress that I've made this weekend. But hopefully I can get all the ceiling up downstairs as well next weekend when I'm going to be back here. But I'm actually very pleased with most of these that I put up. And I can definitely see progress in terms of how it was when I started, which was a couple of weeks back, and how it's been today and how good I am at aligning things now. I'll leave you to it, and then I'll see you in your next one.
1 week later.
Hello and welcome back. We're here again this weekend. It's me and my girlfriend. We have 2 days of work in front of us. Actually, we were also here yesterday, but we didn't do any filming. We spent 2 hours up here yesterday. We were up here doing the calculations for putting up these ceiling panels. I've mentioned that before. It's called Toltec. It's a brand in Denmark that's quite well used everywhere. And they are some cement bonded wood wool is what it is. So it's made from natural materials, it's insulating, and it is also soundproofing between the floors. So I think they're looking very good, and they make everything look very much much more modern than what it is previously with these normal ceiling boards that are just running up there. So we're putting up these, but when you put them up, you have to figure out how to put them up so that it looks symmetrical and that it aligns in each direction. And we went up here and spent 2 hours just calculating the rooms and where to start and where not to start and how to go about it so that we didn't end up in one of the ends with just a few centimeters, because that's not going to be easy to put up. And we landed in a good spot in the kitchen where I'm standing right now, where we actually put up the first one so that we can just get going today. Hopefully here in the kitchen is going to be relatively smooth sailing. There's going to be a few cuts around corners and we need to adjust them in terms of where the lights are. Again, I've encountered an issue where I didn't know what to do and therefore I had to call my brother, who's an electrician, and ask him in terms of how we should do it, because we're going to put some spots up here in the kitchen to ensure that we have a bit more lighting. And those spots, my brother said, can be fitted even after we've put up these ceiling panels. So we're going to take his word for that. Otherwise, he's going to have a hard time when he is to fit them. The good thing is when we cut all of these to size, they're screw on, screw off, so we can simply just take them down afterwards in a quite easy way if we need to go up above again. But my hope is that we can get the kitchen done and then we can move on into the living room. And in that one, I have some concerns that I want to share with you. Not concerns, but thoughts, and sort of like talk you through the entire thought process. But let's crack on here with the kitchen, and then we can talk about the living room afterwards when we get to that one. Yes, so we've just finished the kitchen here, and I'm actually very happy with the result. Now that we've put up these ceiling panels, they are looking very nice. I think the practice that I made from fitting all of them upstairs made this job so much simpler, so much easier. I think we have covered the same square meters in 4 hours now than I spent 2 days on doing upstairs. So I'm very happy with the result, and the next step is to get the same thing done in the living room. So let me show you that. I should have a big drawing that I could show to you. I'll try and explain so that it makes sense. From that end to that end where my girlfriend is standing right now is 4 meters and 2 centimeters. The same goes for that wall over there. However, the back end wall here facing the road is 4 meters and 3 centimeters. The wall that my girlfriend is now standing under is 3 meters and 97 centimeters. So it's a bit off. And the way that you go about putting up these ceiling panels is that you find the very center of the room. You find a straight line through the center of the room. So we need to find the middle here, which is 2 meters and 1 centimeter. And then we need to make a straight line go all the way across the room. However, since these are 60 centimeters wide, it's going to clash a bit with the staircase here in terms of us having to fit in like a very small gap over here of only 6 centimeters. And I was afraid in the beginning that would look terrible. So we thought something different yesterday. We thought that we would just move everything so that we would have like a full sheet or full panel starting in one of the ends, and then in the other end it would end up being a panel of 42 centimeters wide. That's not what we've done in the kitchen. In the kitchen we have centered everything so that we have 15 centimeters in one end and 15 centimeters in the other end, and that looks very good. I hope that you agree on that part. And we want to do the same thing here, and what we're going to have left over in each of the ends is going to be 21 centimeters, so that's going to be plenty of space to put that up. And I could use a few offcuts here and there, also to ensure that we're not wasting as many materials. But it is going to create that element over here that is going to have like a small piece of only 6 centimeters going down. I think if it was less than 5, we wouldn't have done it. But since it's 6 centimeters, so it's a tenth of these ceiling panels in width, we're going to give it a shot. But I think that is the right solution. I hope you understood all the numbers that I mentioned. Yes, so that's all the thought process that went behind this living room. But right now that is what we need to fix. And I think we have plenty of these ceiling panels. I think we actually have a bit too many So we might actually be able to put it up also in the bathroom. I think we better get going. We have an hour left. So let's see if we can have this lined up straight as an arrow, and then have a few of these ceiling panels up. Yes, we have finished putting up the ceiling panels in the living room here, or what's going to be the living room. I have miscalculated a bit my order in terms of how many I needed. I've got about 35 left, but we're also going to put them up in the bathroom. So my plan is now to go and do some calculations as to how we should put them up in the bathroom. I think we'll use about 10 in the bathroom. They're quite big. And that means we have about 25 left over. So yeah, very, very happy with the results. I think my skills in terms of putting these ceiling panels up have improved significantly since I did the first ones upstairs. And the good thing about putting them up here downstairs has been that these walls have been straight, and all edges and corners and everything have been more or less straight, or more or less in a 90-degree angle, etc. And I think it just brightens up the room entirely. Now we have a lot of things to clean up, and we have a lot of garbage or leftover materials, but scrap materials that are offcuts, etc. And I've just sent my girlfriend back to pick up a trailer so that we can load that and get that to the tip today. And then we also need to have some lunch. But we've got about 3 hours left for the day, and I'm hoping that we can finish the bathroom in the meantime. So yeah, I might as well get going with that, and I'll keep you updated on that later on. Quick one, we have just wrapped up for the day, and as you can see, we have fully added in the ceiling panels here in the bathroom as well. Very, very hard job to do, because it was too tall for us to reach it from the ground. As you can see, I can't reach it, and we then had to fit 2 ladders out here, the small one that I've been using and the bigger one that my girlfriend's using, and just maneuvering around out here in the bathroom was a very, very, very difficult element. But we've wrapped up for the weekend. And the outro I did was absolutely terrible, so I'll take it here instead. Thanks a lot for tuning in. New ceiling, really enjoying it. So I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.